So first of all, guys, say hi to YouTube. So today we're going to be going over a Belial tutorial. So Belial just came out actually about 4 or 5 days ago, and I think of it as like one of the most fun characters in the game so far. He's a really strong mix-up, rush-down character with really strong tools to counter the opponent's tools, right? Basically, think of it as like a counter/rush-down character. And right now, as of 2.01, he's considered to be one of the strongest characters in the game. Maybe top 1. I'm really not sure where he's going to end up because it's still early and people are still finding counter strats and people will most likely find new tech for Belial. But the consensus and what I think as well is that Belial's a strong character. So that's kind of the reason you should play him, but he's also really fun. If you're looking for a fun character that plays a little different than pretty much everyone else in this game, I definitely recommend Belial. So I put together a presentation with all the info that you guys need to know. I'll put it down in the description below, put in the chat, and we're just going to go through it. So just a kind of overview of why you might want to play Belial. So he's really good once he gets a hit. He does crazy damage, he has good corner carry, and he can cycle his cooldowns, which means that his combos are long enough that you can use multiple EX specials in a combo, and by the time that you hit them again, your specials come back, right? So his combos take a while and you can get them back. He's arguably the best fireball in the game. It just can do so many things. I mean, he has basically 9 variations of his fireball, and a lot of them are useful. You'll end up using a lot of them, right? Which also gives him a little more depth too. And it's a very well-rounded toolkit. So he pretty much has like all the options you want in a character. Fireball, DP, command grab, counter. Yeah, what's not to love there, right? His cons, I think his main weakness and where he actually does lose out some is his mid-range neutral is not very good. He has a fireball, which you can consider as a poke, but other than that, I mean, the fireball is really risky and has a lot of recovery, right? So that kind of opens them up to jumps. He also loses pretty hard to far normals, especially characters with a lot of range. He can't really contest that. And even though he has 5H, which goes far, it has pretty bad priority. So if I do a move and you do a move, that 5H will get beat out. And on block, it's not the best. You're kind of in a minus situation too. He also has a tough time in characters where getting off a counter is problematic. So for example, like we were talking before against Zoe, right? You do a Sea Dragon and you can counter the Sea Dragon, but if the Zoe's on point, they're just gonna dash under and punish you for doing a counter, right? So you can't really use counter as much in that matchup as you could, let's say against someone like Zeta, where the fireball will be countered no matter where it's at and you get a punish. And the other con, I think it kind of goes along with his mid-range neutral game, is his anti-air is not that good. His 2H, it seems a little slow, it seems a little stubby, so it does get beat out sometimes, especially if you don't do it early enough. Because it's so stubby, like anti-air baits, it's really easy to bait it out and then punish the recovery. I mean, he does have the EXDP, but again, you know, it's not the most damage, and sometimes it can whiff, right? So he's still a really strong character, and these cons shouldn't dissuade you from playing because his strengths are so good. Let's go in order, right? So 5L, 2L standard. The one thing you do need to know is that they're both 5 frames, which we do have the frame data here. You can click on the presentation and see it. Shout out to Matosh in Discord. I think he actually he derived all the frame data himself like yesterday or 2 days ago. But you can see, I think he's the only character in the game with a 5 frame 2L and a 5L. That's really strong, right? Because in class situations, you just match 2L and you're gonna beat anyone else that does the same thing. So he's really good in clashes because of that. His 5M up close, you don't really use it that much because his 2M, this move, is plus on block. So you have the choice between a plus on block move and a 0 on block move, and the plus on block move hits low. You're gonna stick with the plus on block move, right? So this 2M is really good. I think it's the only low 2M that's also plus on block. So your frame traps will involve a lot of 2M, right? Something like 2M on counter hit combos. It doesn't combo on non-counter hit, but as you see there, you get a 2-hit combo, and then you can combo into one of his specials, right? Close 5H, it's pretty standard. Combos onto itself on counter hits, you know, same kind of deal. His far 5H is a really interesting move. This 2-hit, if the second hit's counter like that, you get a combo. And in the corner, that's a crap ton of damage, right? You guys get the point. Actually, you can only special cancel the first hit, you can't special cancel the second hit. You can get like a good 3k off of just with canceling his 5H, right? His 2H is his anti-air. Like I said, it's not the best anti-air in the game, but it does its job, right? We'll cover combos later, but you see, it does a pretty good job. Just your standard 2H. You're not really going to use it anywhere else. He does have a couple applications and combos. His 2U is interesting normal. It does go pretty far compared to his 2M, which kind of like hits right at this range. His 2U goes farther than it actually looks. So it reaches from here. The other cool thing about 2U is that you can combo into his SSBA. That's really good. And you actually get the full animation unless you're like at the furthest distance, right? And so that's like a good, like, you're just kind of like playing neutral and you just, hey, I might run up and sweep you, that sort of thing. So it's actually a pretty good sweep. His jump normals aren't anything fantastic. You gotta jump light, it's active the whole time. It's pretty standard jump light. 5M crosses up, 5H has the most blocks done, but it looks like it should cross up. It will very rarely cross up, like you see there crossed up, but typically if you're gonna cross up, stick to jump M, right? So his jump U is this dive kick, right? Or this foot stomp or whatever you want to call it. It has two purposes, right? The first is like an anti-air. So if I'm going to anti-air him like with a 2H, right? My 2H lifts and you get a full combo. It's really strong. The other purpose it has is that you can do a throw bait. And you guys have probably seen when like any other character, they're trying to throw bait, they'll do like a run up and universal overhead. The advantage to doing run up JU compared to universal overhead is that JU is plus on block and it still leads into a crap ton of damage. It's actually a little safer on spot dodge too. So what that looks like, and you get pretty good damage just for baiting a throw like that. And obviously that wasn't even optimal. You can get tons of damage for baiting a throw, and then even if they block, right, you're plus after that. It's really good. The other thing you can do is you basically hold forward or back after the JU. If you hold back, you kind of do like a treating air. Most of the time you're going to hold forward, but if you're trying to bait something like a counter, you'd hold back. So that's pretty much just key normals. We will talk about 5U, which is like a counter. It's very interesting counter, let's put it that way. So the way it works, he just kind of extends his arms for like a good second. If you hit him during this at all, you block, right? The thing you want to counter are heavy normals typically. Most of the time, like mediums will usually block. You see like how his 5M you get punished, but his 2M you can actually block. And then if they can block, that means they can also super or DP or something punish like that. It's pretty risky. The other thing is if nothing comes out, but when his arms go down, he's not actually countering, and you can just go into super, right? So my recommendation is to only use this counter when you can react to something. So when can you react? Well, let's say they throw a fireball. If you block it from like full screen, they can block, right? But it's like if you block a fireball from about mid screen, or some fireballs like Zeta, even if you block from full screen, you can punish. You can react and you can punish them for doing the fireball, right? And then you get Oki afterwards, and it's really good. I think we covered anything else. I forgot to mention that 2M, it loses to 5 frame, but pretty much no 5 frame can reach that far. So the disadvantage to that is that opponent can actually jump out of your 2M, but as long as the Belial's paying attention, they can anti-air the, they have enough time to anti-air the jump out. Let's talk about special moves. So I'm gonna cover the fireball last because it's like the hardest one, because like I said, there's 9 different variations. It's 2-1-4 special. It's pretty simple. It's just like, think of it as like a hit grab. It's not actually a command grab, you just hit them. The late versions kind of like combos from anything. So like your 2M, if you want to combo from that, even jabs it'll combo from. So like for example, a combo is 2L, 2L, 5L, 214L. That's basically just a combo enter. It is unsafe on block, it's -6, so just keep that in mind. You don't want to always just throw it out. His medium version is slower. It only combos from a couple things, like his stand M, even on non-counter hit, it'll combo. Yeah, you see that combo? The other time, if they're crouching, you can do it after auto combo. This is typically the time I use it the most. The only other time is like if you want to like do a frame trap, you can. Like if you want to do like auto combo in the frame trap, that's your best option because it's safe and it might catch them mashing. I recommend using EX Fist when you're in the corner because you get a full combo after. Again, EX Fist, mid-screen, you don't really get anything. The one advantage of doing EX compared to light mid-screen, because they both combo from the same stuff, is that EX you get a hard knockdown, light you don't. So if you're like doing a combo from here, and you're not gonna need EX Fist for a while, and you want to use the hard knockdown, I recommend doing EX there. But if you're at like this range, I'd recommend doing light, because then if you get another hit, it leaves in the damage in the corner, right? So that's kind of how I prioritize using light versus EX. Again, they're both for pretty much combo. You can't throw out the EX one in neutral sometimes. It's decent, like especially if you're in the corner, because it does like a shitload damage. Like it goes further faster than like anything else he has. So you can do some pretty cool shit like that, right? And that does big boy damage. Let's talk about his command grab. I'm gonna keep this super easy. His light command grab and his medium command grab are really freaking slow. The light version's 35 frames, the medium version's almost a second, it's 53 frames. In my opinion, you don't want to use either of them. They're way too freaking slow. The heavy version is the EX version. I recommend only sticking with that just because it's faster. And even then, 26 frames is a slow command grab. You can react to it. See, like, I can react if I'm looking for it, but in the middle of a match, it's kind of tough to actually react to it. You do want to use it. You can like tick after any special you want. Like I typically do a string like this. Like that's a pretty good string. You can do pretty much anything into command grab. You just gotta mix it up. Far 5H into command grab is pretty good too. But yeah, only use EX command grab. That's what you need to know. His DP, light version is just your standard. They start up on 9 frame invincible DPs, so it's better than like your fairy DP or your Charlotte DP. It's harder to meaty, which is a good thing. Light is pretty much the same as the EX, except the EX comes down. The come down doesn't really do anything because I can still full punish it on block. It's actually minus 12 on block, so typically they get a stand heavy punish. The cool thing about the medium version is it's actually plus on block. It's plus 2. So you can do like cool stuff like this and just kind of reset pressure. This beats 5 frames. So this is actually a really good option to do. Like I recommend doing 2M after that or 5L. Yeah, see how that beat my 5 frame? The other cool thing about this is you get a full combo on counter hit, and there's plenty of combos you can do. I'm not gonna like go into the specifics, but you can do shit like this, and that's a shitload of damage for them deciding to take a counter hit. You do have to start the combo off with 5M, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, it's a big boy damage combo starter for sure. So you just gotta mix it in. You can do like the light version as like a fake, because in order to beat the medium version, you have to do a 2H. Like even Belial's trash anti-air works pretty well against it. But let's say I'm 2Hing on reaction. See, you can kind of whiff punish their 2H, right? So there is kind of a mind game you can play with the medium DP and the light DP. So his fireball is really versatile, right? He actually has 9 different versions of the fireball you can do. I guess technically like 12 if you count not canceling anything. So light, medium goes up, right? And then heavy is just EX version, hits multiple times. That's actually a good fireball starter. Yeah, I think this is the best fireball in the game because you have so many things you can do with it, right? You can just use it to zone. It's pretty quick, right? You can, let's say they start to jump. You can do something like that to kind of cover your blind spots. You can do different variations to hit them. You guys probably know one of the best things to do in this game is spot dodge a fireball, but you can't even spot dodge this fireball because you can do something like that, right? And if you spot dodge the fireball, you take that. It's really versatile, and you can use it for pressure, right? So Couple of the pressure swings I recommend, 236 M, 4M if you're doing it up close. Typically you do that from a close or far heavy. So let me show you what that looks like. So on counter hit this combos, and on block it's +2. It's like a win-win, right? There is a gap so you can't interrupt it. Yep, you get a 5 medium there. So it's really good. The other thing you can do is if you're from far, right, you can't. That was just whiff, right? That's the same input. So you want to do 236 L 4H. So it'll look something like this. And if that hits, you also get. So it's really good. It's really versatile. All his variations have a use in my opinion. So just play around with it. But the ones that I recommend are, you know, the 236M 4M and the 236L 4H. And then obviously the 236H 4H is his combo starter. So all of his optimal combos involve the 236H 4H like you just saw there. I think that's it for the specials, right? Alright, so recommended combos. Let's just go through these real quick. 2L, 2L, 5L into 214L or H. So that's just your basic crouch jab confirm. You can get a third 2L if you do like a running start. But typically you only get two 2Ls because usually you're doing it like defensively. The other thing is you can do a starter into EX Fireball. And what this looks like, you know, a starter could be anything. It could be like a 2M. It could be a 5H. It could be an auto combo. It can be anything, right? So let's just do your basic starter. Let's do a 5H into EX Fireball. So the most basic thing you can do is you do sweep into 214M or H. It's pretty easy, but there is a slightly more optimal version, right? Here, let's do let's compare 5H. So this is 3.4K. This is the easy version, but you can do EX Fireball and then run up and get a full auto combo. So you do have to do a micro dash. It is a little tricky, something you do have to practice in training mode. But micro dash, you basically just tap like 6-6 right after you do the EX Fireball. So that did what, like 450 more damage, and it bought you more time for your EX Fireball to come back online, and you get more corner carry. So whenever you can go for the micro dash, you want to go for it, and it's not too hard. Like I just hit it on the first try. The other thing you can do is you can let all the hits of the EX Fireball hit before pressing 4H. I actually don't see any other Belial doing this, but let me show you what that looks like if you let all the Fireball hits hit. It is a little trickier. So that did another 600 more damage. So compare the 3.4 to the unoptimal combo compared to 4.4K for the optimal combo when you let the whole EX Fireball rock, right? So you want to do that in the most optimal way because you're leaving a lot of damage on the table. That's definitely a good optimization to practice. So in the corner, like I said, you just do your starter and the EX Fireball. The micro dash is way easier in the corner. So I would recommend sticking, like always do the micro dash in the corner just because it's so easy because you don't really have to dash forward that much. And sometimes you don't even have to dash forward at all. So let's say the starter again is 5H. See, I didn't have to start up there. Just do 5. That's what that looks like, right? So you get a combo after the 214H, and typically you go into 5HHH EXDP. And the cool thing about that is it cycles in the EX Fireball. So once you get that knockdown, you get the EXDP knockdown. Looks like this. I typically go for a safe jump. You get an auto combo. And you see how you get the cooldowns back, right? And you can just keep cycling this combo till... yeah, until they die. Other combo I'd recommend in the corner. So it's more optimal to keep your EX Fireball cooldown just so you can pressure better. And it gives you more offense on, more options on your offense. And you see you get a meaty reload. And you can get some, yeah, pretty cool pressure string with that, right? So that's the combo I recommend doing, just because you get a meaty wheel, which gives you extra chip. It still does pretty good damage, as you saw, and you get to keep your EX Fireball cooldown for whatever the heck you want to do, right? Oh yeah, so cash out combo. The only time you shouldn't do these combos is if you just want to cash out, and the cash out works like this, right? Basically it looks like that, and this is how you get optimal damage. The thing is that you don't want to typically do that because you don't get to cycle your cooldown. So I typically only do that if it's gonna kill or if it's gonna get you within like throw damage range. That's usually when I decide to burn super, but you guys can kind of figure out what the best solution is on your end. EX wheel's the best extender, right? Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's the most versatile extender. Typically you want to use both of them in the combo, the EX wheel and the EX grab, especially if you're in the corner. And then anti-air, right? So my anti-air theory is I recommend just doing your 2H, and then if you see it's counter hit, you just do a far 5H into, or close 5H into your special. And if it's non-counter hit, you combo into the 214M, but you do have to delay it. So that's what it looks like, you know, on counter hit. And of course, if you're in the combo, you get, you know, extension from that. You can also do stuff like this. You know, if you want to burn 2 EXs, you do get additional damage. If it's non-counter hit, you get that. And sometimes if you delay it, right, you get additional juggle, which is you know, that's pretty good damage. That's like some of the best damage in the game for not hitting a button after counter hit. There's another anti-air combo you can do. You guys probably seen this. I just picked this one out of randomly, but there's a bunch of variations on this. But you can combo into the regular fireball, into EX fireball, into the follow-up, and yeah, that does a lot of damage, right? And I think I personally like doing the version I showed you because one, it covers non-counter hit, and two, I find this combo to be a little inconsistent, but you guys can determine what you like best. But this is definitely an option. I left it in the slide. And is 5H, counter, EXDP, and both supers can also anti-air. So again, just kind of figure out what's best for you. Yeah, let's cover Oki real quick. So on Oki, I recommend typically you just do a run up 2L. You know, so if you get something like a 214L, this is gonna be your most typical Oki. You can just do run up 2L. If you time it right, it'll be DP safe. It is a little time to time it on the 214L. If you time it on the 214H, it's a lot easier to time the 2L. You can't go for like a super jump here. Like a super jump safe jump. You do have to delay it a little bit. But you can get something like that, and that does safe jump. For meaty wheel, on most knockdowns, you can get a meaty fireball. So let's say you do EXDP, just do 214LH and you get a meaty fireball. That's actually DP safe. So EXDP, it's a little hard to time because you want to make sure you get the earliest possible timing so you can block the DP, but that works too. The other thing, this one after counter, you gotta be like frame perfect to make it work. But you can get a safe meaty wheel. It's really tough. Yeah, see how that worked? But it's, you gotta be very technical with your input there. If not, they'll be able to DP through it. And then other than that, you get a safe jump after a lot of stuff. Like after a throw or a command grab, you get a safe jump. You saw how that whiffed. Same thing with command grab. You get a free safe jump. It's pretty good. One thing, it's kind of weird with Belial, and one of the things you can do to counter him is all the jump-ins can be rolled, interestingly enough, right? So just keep that in mind. But you can, like, I won't say you can OS it, but you can react to the roll and still punish them. This is another thing you guys can check out. He does get like a meaty stomp. And if the meaty stomp hits right, you can get like a low, which is actually pretty dope. See, like that, and that's kind of like a 50-50. I think you could technically react to it, but I've done it to several people online and no one's reacted. So, and other than that, yeah, there's not really that much to the guide. If you guys got questions, I think matchups is kind of too early to tell, but there are characters that have like good grounded pokes that give them trouble, or with fireballs that are tough to counter. For example, Matera or Beelzebub, they can throw a fireball out, and if you counter it, they can anti you on the way coming down, whether it's with DP or super, or in Matera's case, you can do like a 2H or something like that if they counter the wrong fireball. And you just don't want to like throw it out preemptively, because then you get tons of damage. And I think he does pretty well against characters without a reversal option, because again, this mix-up's so strong, and you can mix up the 2U and throw and the fireball pressure we kind of talked about, and it gets pretty oppressive. Most characters without reversal. Like, does that include Sora's 5U? I don't think Sora's 5U is that good. It's more of like dealing with the fireball pressure. That's the tough part. It's like, so one of the things that a DP helps with, or a reversal option helps with, is this shit right here, right? So if you do like a this string here, this is punishable, by the way. See, like I can actually punish with my far 5M, which is pretty good. But if, let's say I cancel into something like the fireball for pressure, I can OSDP this. So I can just DP every time right there, and I get a punish. And if they do something that's a true block string, or they just do the 5H, my DP doesn't come out. So it's really good. But if you don't have a DP, you can't do that. So rip people with DPs. You gotta guess on mashing, and that's not a very good guess you want to take. I saw some sweeps go below his wheels. I actually think, well, you can interrupt his wheel with like anything. It looks like it's active before it actually is, so you can easily interrupt it. So let me show you what that looks like. See, I can just interrupt it with whatever the hell I want. I mean, you can't sweep, but like, it's the same ideas. So guys, my wife is salty. Her car got hit, and she had to pay some guy to remove a dent. So she just wanted to pass on to you guys. Don't drive like maniacs. A car repair guide for 1K followers? I'll have to consider that.
Do they need a dent guy? I have his number.